CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us. We're live on every social media platform known to mankind, where we talk local content that matters to you in a long-form format. Today's show is presented by the Clifton in Keswick. If you have an opportunity to spend some quality time with family or friends and you're looking to do it over cocktails, drinks, or fantastic cuisine, I cannot recommend the Clifton in Keswick enough. I mean, just memorable experiences. And speaking of experiences, weddings, events, and corporate retreats are perfect and welcome at the Clifton in Keswick. I'll give you an idea or a snapshot of what we're going to talk about today. There is conversation circulating amongst the insiders I interact with on a daily basis that friend of the program, Bellamy Brown, is considering a run for the Virginia House of Delegates. We will talk about this to lead the show. I want to offer some perspective on Bellamy Brown, the man, on today's program. I've had the pleasure of getting to know Bellamy through this talk show and a past race that he was a part of, Charlottesville City Council. If you watch the I Love CVille Show in any capacity, you will know that I'm a huge fan of Bellamy Brown. We'll explain on today's show why we think Bellamy Brown would make a fantastic candidate, and I encourage any of the viewers and listeners of this fine and fair talk show to weave Bellamy Brown into the mix by tagging him and letting him know that he's about to be the lead of the show. We will also chatter on today's show the most expensive homes in the city of Charlottesville. We have a source on the I Love CVille Network that we have called Anonymous, and he interacts with us routinely through Twitter direct message. He's actually doing it literally right now as I'm talking on this program. He has sent me He's making me laugh. He has sent me a direct message while he's on vacation and sitting in a ski lodge with his children, literally right now, interacting with the I Love CVille Show. And the direct message he sent me on Twitter includes a map that he's put together of the most expensive homes in the city of Charlottesville. We will show that map on screen and showcase where these homes are grouped. I think you know where the groupings will take place for the most expensive homes in the city of Charlottesville. Also on today's show, I want to follow up the topic du jour for this week, which is panhandling on the downtown mall. Look, it's no secret that local businesses on the downtown mall are struggling right now. The customer engagement in downtown Charlottesville is dropping. And it's always low in the first quarter of every year because it's cold outside and people are recovering from all the money they spent at Christmas and over the holidays from a credit card bills standpoint. So merchants, small business owners, landlords, and the Friends of CVille nonprofit are highlighting for the community the importance of supporting the downtown mall now more than ever. And we've also highlighted all the stakeholders downtown, how panhandling has gotten a bit out of control, almost to the point of aggressive harassment in downtown Charlottesville. Jason Burke, who routinely watches this program from Los Angeles, in fact, he's in LA right now, he grew up in Charlottesville, and he sent me a fantastic direct message via Facebook yesterday that I'm going to read on screen, a potential solution for panhandling in downtown Charlottesville that is above board and does not infringe upon freedom of speech. Essentially, the Constitution justifies panhandling in a lot of different capacities. So I'll read Jason Burke's message to you later in this program. I think it's absolutely dynamite from this guy. I also want to talk about the FTC proposing a ban on non-compete clauses. I'm going to ask you, the viewer and listener, this question. I don't know the answer to this, so I'm going to ask you the question. John Blair, the city attorney of Stanton, put this on my radar. John Blair is a friend of the program and an all-around great guy. John Blair asked the question, Jerry, which businesses in Charlottesville utilize non-compete clauses? I don't have that answer. Can you, the viewer and listener, think of any businesses or brands in Charlottesville, in Albemarle County or in Central Virginia that utilize non-compete clauses with their staff, with their team members. Currently, millions of workers in our country have signed non-compete clauses, and the Federal Trade Commission has proposed a new rule that would ban the use of non-compete clauses or agreements, and calling them, the FTC is calling them exploitative and widespread handcuffing affecting more than 30 million American workers. The question I have for you is, do we know any Central Virginia business that uses non-compete clauses? If you know the answer to that, put it in the feed. We'll get a two-shot here shortly with Judah Wickhauer as we work our enterprising developer into the mix. By developer, I mean director. And I want to talk one item of college football news. Wake Forest quarterback Sam Hartman has officially transferred to Notre Dame. The reason I'm bringing that up to you, Hartman transferring to Notre Dame from Winston-Salem, is I think Brennan Armstrong is now going to announce where he's going to transfer. The former Virginia gunslinger, the record-setting quarterback from the University of Virginia. Now that Hartman has officially made his decision saying he's going to Notre Dame, expect Brennan Armstrong in the very near future to announce where he's going from a transfer standpoint. A lot of speculation has Brennan Armstrong going to NC State. NC State in Raleigh, North Carolina, an ACC school, and that would be just very concerning, if not damaging to the Virginia brand, a record-setting quarterback from Charlottesville transferring within the Atlantic Coast Conference to an NC State program. All right, let's talk. I'm going to give some Bellamy Brown take first. The insiders, the folks in the know that I routinely conversate with, have coffee, meals, happy hour, chatter on social with. The chatter is Bellamy Brown is going to make a push for the Virginia House of Delegates. Bellamy Brown making a push for the 54th District. There's some competition in the 54th District. Katrina Callsen, the Albemarle County School Board member, has already announced that she's running for the 54th District. I find it very... Let me go to LinkedIn. I'm going to go to LinkedIn right now. While I'm on LinkedIn, and someone tag Bellamy Brown, and someone tag Katrina Callsen, and we also need to get Dashad Cooper in the mix. He's running officially for the 54th District. So Katrina Callsen. First, I'm going to go to Katrina Callsen. Her LinkedIn page. I'm actually not connected with her on LinkedIn, so I'm going to send her a connection on LinkedIn, which I just did. I look at her LinkedIn, and I see that her position professionally, how she makes her living, is as a deputy city attorney with Charlottesville City. Here's the question I have. If you're the deputy city attorney for Charlottesville City, is it not a conflict of interest that someone who is employed by the city of Charlottesville is running for House of Delegates in a district that will represent the city of Charlottesville? I need you, the viewer and listener, to help me understand this. I need you, the viewer and listener, to help me understand this, please. Katrina Callsen is an Albemarle County School Board member currently. She recently announced that she is running for the 54th District in the Virginia House of Delegates. Is it not a conflict of interest that she is a deputy city attorney for the city of Charlottesville, and she's also running for House of Delegates in the 54th District, a district that encompasses the city of Charlottesville? Help me understand that. The other candidate who has officially announced his push for the Virginia House of Delegates is Dashad Cooper. Dashad Cooper is the co-chair of the Charlottesville Democratic Committee, the treasurer of the Charlottesville Area Youth Democrats, He is making a push for the 54th district. Earlier this week, he made this announcement. The scuttlebutt has Bellamy Brown making a push for the 54th district as well. So you got 3 people there. And right now, Bellamy is not official. Our radar or our odometer on these topics, though, is generally very much on point. Ned Galloway, Albemarle County Board of Supervisors, interested in this seat. Dave Norris, interested in this seat. The 54th, Sally Hudson's spot is becoming quite competitive as she makes a push to challenge Creed Deeds in the Virginia State Senate. These are how the political dominoes are falling. There's also conversation circulating that Albemarle County School Board member Judy Lee is considering an elevated run at a different position outside the school board. We will follow that closely. I want to talk Bellamy Brown for about 2 minutes here. I'm a huge Bellamy Brown fan. I think he is honest, hardworking, a man of vision, a connected guy, a man who grew up in the area, a man who knows Charlottesville and Albemarle County inside and out, and a man who has, in the grand scheme of things, he wants what's best for Albemarle and Charlottesville. My hope is Bellamy does run for the 54th. We got to know Bellamy for the first time when he made a push for Charlottesville City Council in 2019 as an independent. He ran the same election cycle of Michael Payne, Lloyd Snook, and Sina McGill, who recently announced her resignation. He did not win a spot on council, although I thought his effort as an independent was legitimate and valiant. I would love to see him make this official announcement and make a push for the Virginia House of Delegates, because I think it would be Charlottesville and Albemarle County's gain. I do not know much about Dashad Cooper. In regards to Katrina Callsen, the extent of what I know from her is what I've seen Katrina do on the school board. I do find it relatively concerning that someone that works in an official capacity for the city of Charlottesville is running for a delegate seat that would represent the city of Charlottesville, her employer. I think that potentially is a conflict of interest. At least from a perception standpoint it is. The political dominoes are starting to fall. Let's see what Dave Norris does. Let's see what Ned Galloway does. Let's see what Judy Lee does. I think everyone should be wondering if Alcaro, the at-large school board member, whether Alcaro is going to run again or not. Dr. Meg Bryce is running for the at-large seat at the Albemarle County School Board. I think she's got a lot of promise and potential. The dominoes are falling politically, and we're starting to see them shape out and shake out. We'll follow closely if Bellamy Brown makes it official for the House of Delegates. All right, I want to talk most expensive homes in the city of Charlottesville. In fact, why don't we go to a two-shot with Judah Wickhauer? And tell me when we're on a two-shot there, J Dubs. We are on a two-shot. Good afternoon, my friend.
Good afternoon.
Lisa Costello, thank you for tagging the friend of the program, Bellamy Brown. We appreciate you, Lisa Costello, quite a bit. First, my friend, how about a take from you on Bellamy Brown?
I mean, I don't think I could say anything better than you said it yourself. He's an intelligent, compassionate person who I think loves the city, and I'd vote Bellamy Brown over just about anyone else you could put up.
Yeah, dude's A+. Dude's A+. And I think if Bellamy Brown had run as a Democrat in 2019 instead of as an independent, Bellamy Brown would be on city council right now. I truly believe that. But I still respect the fact that he ran as an independent in 2019, and he got a boatload of votes.
Definitely.
He got a boatload of votes. I think he is a fantastic representation of this area as someone who grew up in the area, was educated by public schools in the area, military serviceman, a Marine, a guy who's got a finance background, and a guy who chose to move back to this area to make the area a better place for the next generation of Charlottesvillians, Albemarle Countyans, and Central Virginians.
100%.
I want to talk real estate, most expensive homes in the area. Off the top of your head here, before you get to the map that we're going to put on screen, which was sent to us by Anonymous, the deep throat of the I Love CVille Network, where do you think the most expensive homes in the area are grouped in the city of Charlottesville?
In the city of Charlottesville.
What neighborhood? No, even if you get it wrong, it's no big deal. We're just talking out loud.
I would, in the city of Charlottesville, I think I would probably say some of the places off of Rugby.
Yeah.
Like between Dairy Market and Barracks Road.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good guess. Let's put the map on screen. This is a...
It's on screen.
Look at the screen, everyone. Look at the screen. The purplish houses, or the purplish... how do I describe this here? How do you characterize this? The homes that are purple on this map, this aerial view map, are the ones that are $1 million plus in the Charlottesville city area.
Wow.
You see they're aggregated around Barracks Road and Rugby Road, in between Barracks Road Shopping Center and I guess Dairy Market is a good landmark.
Yeah.
Many of these houses are off Barracks Road. If you're going from Preston Avenue down Barracks Road and you're heading to the shopping center, there's a neighborhood that is tucked away off of Barracks Road that is baller, big time baller. The homes that are off Rugby are very estate-esque as well. In fact, the two most expensive homes in Charlottesville City right now are both on Rugby Road, and they're essentially next to each other. Pete Snyder has one, he ran for governor, and friend of the program, Joffrey Woodruff, has the other. So you see the pocket of wealth in the city. If you can kind of zoom out, there's another pocket toward the right that's kind of off of, Long Street, off of East High Street, off of McIntyre Road. Can you show that, Judah? That's North Downtown. That's the pocket on the bottom North Downtown.
You want me to zoom out?
Can they see the bottom right pocket? That's exactly right, Bill McChesney, the mayor of McIntyre, the Hilltop Blue Ridge Road area. He's exactly right. That's exactly right, McChesney. That right there is, you got finance guys, finance ladies, you got a lot of the UVA docs and the UVA heavy hitters that are living there. That's exactly right. That's the top marquee location from a real estate value standpoint. Good call, Mayor of McIntyre. The second marquee location from a real estate value standpoint is that pocket of real estate across from the ballpark, the baseball field on McIntyre Road. That North Downtown area has got some big baller abodes. I mean, the location's fantastic. Both of the locations are fantastic, right? Off of Barracks Road, J-Dubs, and the other one in North Downtown.
Yeah.
The pockets are very clear in a 10.2 square mile city where the wealth is. Now, Anonymous made this point. This is an interesting point. Let me read it verbatim. He said, Jerry, I saw you were going to talk about the most expensive real estate tomorrow. I emailed you a clickable map of all residential parcels assessed at over $1 million per unit. Download it and open it with Chrome. It should work. Thank you for that. Anonymous says this, my own 2 cents, Jerry. As I think I've shared before, it's quite shocking to me how few properties in Charlottesville are actually expensive. Where I am now, a town of a similar size to Charlottesville, also with the State University, was cheaper than Charlottesville 10 years ago. Today, the average home is priced about 70% above Charlottesville City. I'm just outside of town. Property a quarter mile down the road just went on the market for $13.25 million. Oh, and only 35% of the city is zoned R1, which is single-family detached. Loose zoning did not help where he is now. He's in a ski lodge community. I'm not sure which one. So he makes this comment, and he's openly has said, Judah, if we're on a two-shot. Anonymous, this is, you know, I've met this man a couple of times in person. He's openly said that he calls himself a finance refugee. And where he's a refugee is from a major metropolitan area, Manhattan. Now living in Charlottesville for a better quality of life. He's indicated that there are a lot of finance refugees now in Charlottesville City because of COVID, the work from home, and this hybrid movement that's out there.
Yeah.
And while affordability is relative, and why it's relative is it depends on how much money you make.
Yeah.
You know, someone that, you know, is making
It also depends.
7 figures plus is going to probably call Charlottesville pretty damn affordable.
Yeah. It also depends how high above or below your means you're living.
Exactly. Affordability is relative.
Yeah.
For Anonymous, a finance refugee from the Big Apple, Charlottesville is cheap. And he's indicated in the grand scheme of other markets, Charlottesville City, and it's specifically the city, does not have a tremendous amount of really expensive real estate. If you think about the really, really expensive real estate that trades in Central Virginia, where does it trade? You got the farms, the farmettes, and the estates in Keswick
Yeah.
that has significant acreage. You got the houses along Ivy Road, Farmington, and some of those estates on Ivy Road off of what? Owensville and Tillman and that area behind Duners that are well, but that's Albemarle County.
Yeah.
If you think Charlottesville City, you don't have a lot of houses that are trading. Can anyone name in Charlottesville City a home that's traded north of 10 million? Has there ever been a home that's traded north of 10 million? I do not believe there has been. Anonymous, if you're still watching from your ski lodge, do you let me know that? I believe the 2 most expensive homes in Charlottesville City, next to each other on Rugby Road, each traded below 10. Each traded below 10 million. Let me see if I can find that. I'll see if I can confirm that next week, but I'm fairly confident I'm accurate here. One of the reasons the houses aren't trading for that high 7-figure price point or that 8-figure plus price point, what were you going to say?
Lack of land.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a lack of land.
There's only so much. There's only so high you can price a house.
There it is right there. Judah just nailed it. There's only so high you're going to price the house. And the parcels are a certain size.
Yeah. 0.2.
I mean, you can get an acre plus certain aspects of the city. I mean, some
in
of
CVille?
some of the estates off Rugby. I guess is estate the right word?
I don't know.
Some of the ones off of Rugby are at an acre, a little over an acre. But it's to your point. What's making the Keswick houses trade at clips that Charlottesville City is not? It's the dirt. It's the acreage that comes with the 7,000 or 8,000 square foot home. And you just don't have that in the Charlottesville city.
Right.
Put the map back on screen. Multiple folks are asking for the map. The top trading parcels in the city are north downtown and in the Rugby Road, Hilltop, Blue Ridge Road neighborhoods. And I appreciate Anonymous for sending us this map so we can showcase and feature it on today's show. He's legitimately made the program better since he started interacting with it. And he's a finance guy who utilizes data in everything he does professionally. And his passion for data is also obvious when he researches real estate in Central Virginia. He's looking at real estate in Central Virginia with a data lens, the same lens that he's using in finance. And this guy's a heavy hitter when it comes to finance. All right. Other topics I want to get to. And Lisa Costello, I'll get to your comments here on Bellamy Brown. Kevin Yancey, I'll get to your comments here when it comes to Bellamy Brown. I'm a huge fan of Bellamy Brown. Bellamy representing this area in the House of Delegates would be gold. Would be A+ in my book. And I want somebody to explain to me how Katrina Callsen, the school board member, who's running for the 54th district, who's employed by the city of Charlottesville as a deputy city attorney, how it's not a conflict of interest that she's running for delegate, even though she's employed by Charlottesville. I find that to be concerning. Someone explain that to me, please. All right, Judah, I'm going to read to you what Jason Burke sent me. Jason Burke is a realtor in Los Angeles. He watches the I Love CVille show from Los Angeles.
LA.
You asked him where he lived in Los Angeles a little while ago. Do you remember where it was in LA?
Did he respond?
Yeah, he responded. I relayed it on air to you. Jason Burke, let us know where in LA you are living. Judah used to live in Los Angeles.
I don't remember what the answer was.
The memory, Judah, the memory.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm giving you a hard time. I apologize. Here's what he said about panhandling. So a lot of the show this week, we've been talking panhandling.
Yeah.
Panhandling is protected as a right we have as humans. Like, people can legally panhandle and ask other folks for money. It's called freedom of speech. Where it gets hairy
is when you harass someone.
Is what we're seeing in downtown Charlottesville, and I tried to highlight this yesterday. It's no longer, and it's not all the panhandlers.
Definitely not.
It's a handful of the panhandlers, and the handful that are doing this just happen to aggregate on the downtown mall, unfortunately.
And they do it a lot, and they get a lot of people's attention.
Yeah. And they do it because it's very visible.
Yeah.
So what's happening now is on the downtown mall, the panhandlers are not just asking for money, they're doing it in an aggressive capacity where they're following people down the mall, yelling at them for not giving them money, and getting in their face.
Yeah, or even asking for specific things like buy me an ice cream cone.
Well, I mean, the other day I got go to CVS and buy me a 12-pack of Budweiser. That was legitimately the request.
Wow.
It was legitimately the request. And currently the requests are not, can I get any change? The requests are, now the panhandling is, can I get $5?
Yeah, right.
The ask is for $5. So Jason Burke said this via Facebook message. Jerry and Judah, panhandling is commonly not allowed within 15 feet of an ATM and 10 feet from any commercial establishment and 15 feet from an intersection. Within those set boundaries already in place, maybe it's a better topic to focus on the ability to prosecute the laws that currently stand, as the Constitution protects asking for money. Another loophole to consider is that a person can always fly a sign asking for money without speaking. I totally get what you are saying, as I have been harassed on the downtown mall as well. But I don't think it could be enforced, especially with the lack of police presence in downtown CVille. And if a person were to get fined for aggravated panhandling, what would actually come of that? Just a thought.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said that I didn't think that trying to ban panhandling altogether was a very good idea. But there needs to be a way to, to give force to being able to stop people who are, who take all that for granted, that they do have free speech, but, it's like, yes, you have free speech, but you can't just go around saying anything.
I mean, I think he lives in Sherman Oaks. He's watching right now. Sherman Oaks in Los Angeles.
Sherman Oaks.
You live where in LA?
I lived in Northridge.
You live in Northridge. My brother lives in Los Angeles, Jason and Judah. My brother lives in Culver City. In Culver City, LA. And I'll tell you what, my brother, who is a heavy hitter in tech and technology, he's got a place in Culver City that's like 1,400 square feet, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath on a postage stamp lot. It does have a nice pool in the back, and it is new construction. We're talking like 1.5, 1.6 million. And the interesting thing about Culver City, which is a transitioning neighborhood in Los Angeles, and this 1.5, 1.6 million house that is, say, 1,500 square feet, and his family of 4, he and his wife and 2 kids, they're bursting at the seams at this house, to the point where his son and his daughter are rooming together in the same room, because the 3rd bedroom he needs to utilize as his office because he works in a hybrid setting.
Yeah.
So we're talking 1.6 million in Culver City in Los Angeles, and when you walk out the door and down the driveway outside his house, there's like 6 or 7 houseless individuals in tents that have pitched a tent literally on the side of the road, on the side of the sidewalk, and are living there, Judah.
That's crazy.
Living there.
I wouldn't feel comfortable with my kids.
Outside a $1.6 million house.
Yeah.
Permanently living there. And Los Angeles does nothing about that.
Yeah. I'm sure there are too many people doing that to do anything.
Literally a row of tents outside his house.
Yeah.
But I digress. I want to get back to the panhandling and offer solutions. I mean, maybe an example needs to be made out of one of the aggressive panhandlers.
I mean, that would mean that there's somehow like, and I'm sure some of them do talk to each other, but
you see them? We see them talking to each other.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's not like they're a union or something, and they all talk to all the rest of them. Some of them, I'm sure, talk to some of the others. I think what would be better is to, I mean, you've got to do something about the individuals.
I mean, the solution that's happening now is not working.
But there is no solution.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not sure what.
There's nothing being done.
Right.
Nothing. And the merchants are begging us for something to be done. Where the point of Friends of CVille and the small business owners on the downtown mall are begging you and I to continue talking about this. They're interacting with the comment section this week on the show, like Jen Finazzo of Sal's Cafe Italia did yesterday.
Oh well, when Maggie Gunnels was here yesterday, after you left and before she went to take her call, she said, I wish you guys would talk about the people begging for money and being aggressive on the downtown mall.
She straight up said that?
And I'm like, have you been watching our show in the last couple of days? And she said no. And I'm like, that is literally what we talked about today and yesterday.
And the interesting thing is Maggie is the quintessential customer of downtown Charlottesville.
Yeah.
She's what in her, I don't like to make prediction of women's age. I would say low 30s, mid 30s, right?
Yeah.
And does not feel safe coming.
Right.
I've said multiple times on this show, my wife is 35 and does not feel safe coming down here at night.
Yeah.
So she's choosing not to come.
And that's a gigantic
That is the demographic.
Yeah,
because
demographic.
when these ladies come downtown, guys come downtown. If you're doing a food and beverage business, live music, or hospitality business, you want the women to come because then the men will follow.
And really, how many of the shops on the downtown mall are focused only on men? Like, I could see a lot of the shops being...
What shop on the downtown mall is focused only on men?
I don't think there are really any. I mean, there are some that...
It used to be, maybe you could make the argument for the cigar shop that was on 4th Street.
There's the men's clothing store.
The men's and boys shop.
Yeah.
I think there was the cigar shop. That's now gone.
Yeah. But most of the stuff is now either, I would say, mainly focused on women's, needs and desires, and stuff that's split pretty evenly.
I mean, look, it's no secret how you get men down here. You have women down here. That's how you get men down here.
Yeah.
It's no secret. And right now, the merchants are telling us, and a lot of the ladies are telling us, that they don't feel safe here. Heck, I'm even hearing that from guys. Like, legitimately. So it's time to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, and Jason Burke makes the comment, panhandling is commonly not allowed within 15 feet of an ATM or 10 feet of a commercial establishment and 15 feet from an intersection.
The question I would have, and I think that's great, but how do you enforce that? I mean, it's not it's not like if it happens to you, a cop is going to be, right around the corner, and you just like snap your fingers, and a cop comes and stops someone from harassing you near an ATM or whatever. I think
that's why I almost think that an example has to be made of a handful of folks.
Well, we have a much easier problem to solve than you would trying to stop people from panhandling near an ATM or a street corner in Los Angeles. I mean, Los Angeles is like 60 miles across, so
it's easier to manage.
Yeah, I mean, if all you're trying to do is manage the downtown mall, you maybe put 1 or 2 more cops in time on the mall during times when the highest rate of traffic is going on.
Peak traffic,
yeah.
Peak customer activity.
And you would also, I'm sure, it probably wouldn't be very hard to figure out the, when are these people really harassing people? Like, obviously, you don't need a cop walking up and down the mall at midnight.
But the issue is one of the issues, and you make really good points. The aggressive panhandling has gotten so ubiquitous that the aggressiveness is not just happening like at peak hours, Friday and Saturday night. It's like legitimately, I mean, look at what you said yesterday with Maggie being over here. The meeting was in the middle of the day on a Thursday.
But that doesn't mean that, I don't know that she had just encountered something like that.
Well,
I think maybe she had, it almost, and I don't know, but it almost seemed to me like either she had been talking to someone else about the subject, or something had happened to her but it didn't sound like this was, oh hey, I just got harassed by a panhandler. Just to make it clear. Still, I think that, yeah, you're right. It may be happening at at no specific times, but I still think that there are a much smaller number of panhandlers that do the harassing than there are actual panhandlers. I feel like it wouldn't be that
I agree with that.
I feel like it wouldn't be that tough to single them out.
That's what I'm saying. We know who the aggressive ones are.
Yeah, so single them out.
Make an example of them.
But I think if you start punishing those people, then you're going to take care of the issue.
You make an example of them.
Or you punish the 2 or 3 that actually, do.
It's more than 2 or 3. I think the aggressive ones are in the neighborhood of, count them, 10. You make an example of the ones that are taking it too far. You make an example, and you be persistent about it. And you prioritize policing with the aggressive ones. And if you make an example and you prioritize it over a period of time, eventually the behavior will stop. What's happened now is it's gone unsupervised for so long that the panhandlers are becoming more ballsy and more brazen.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with our soon-to-be 5-year-old son. This kid, who I love dearly, and I tell him every night, I'm proud of you, I love you, and be the best version of yourself. I tell that to my oldest son every day. Literally, when we're turning off the lights and closing the door, I love you, son, I'm proud of you, son, be the best version of yourself every day, son. But if I let this kid, or my wife lets this little boy, if we give him an inch,
oh yeah,
dude is going after not a mile, but a marathon of distance because we gave him that inch.
Oh yeah, my niece was over for Christmas, and she's sticking my phone in her mouth, and I told her no. I mean, she's not yet 2, but still, she's intelligent. I can tell, you can tell that she understands a lot of what's going on. And I said no, and she just looked at me, and I finally yanked the phone out of her hand and out of her mouth.
And she figured it out.
And she looked like she was gonna cry or something. And my sister's kind of looking at me, and I'm like, Hadley needs to learn. I mean, she's literally like chewing on the glass on here. But the point I usually make with people when I'm talking about my dogs is they're just like kids. You have to let them know and they have to listen to you. If you're it's one thing to say no, don't do that, but that doesn't train, that doesn't teach. Because when your dog or your child is heading towards the road, you want to know that when you say stop, they will stop.
Exactly.
Because it could be their life on the line.
There it is. There it is. Perfectly said. And a byproduct of a third of the police department in Charlottesville City being vacant, a byproduct of that is the deprioritization of crimes and the deprioritization of certain policing.
Yeah.
And a byproduct of a third of the department being vacant is panhandlers becoming more ballsy and brazen on the downtown mall.
Yeah.
And as Kevin Higgins just put in the feed, the king of Greenwood, he says the mall has a serious branding problem. This is something you and Judah are good at. It needs massive changes from a security and image standpoint. And it does. And this is coming from someone whose retirement is associated with the downtown mall. The building we are in is mostly mine. So having these 8 blocks thrive is important, not only to me, not only to the community, not only to the business owners here, the landlords here, but the employees that work there.
Yeah.
If you're working at Hamilton's at 1st and Main and you don't get as many covers coming in the restaurant or people sitting in your section, you're not going to make as much money.
Yeah, if you work at a restaurant and the restaurant decides that the mall is too slow because
they're going to cut you
because people are afraid to come here, and they start like the Nook only opening for lunch. Well,
you've lost shifts.
Yeah.
Or you're a band that's playing the Southern, or you're the band that's playing another venue, and part of your compensation is the door. The $5 to get in at the door, or part of your compensation is a percentage of booze sales during the time that you were playing live music at that respective venue. If the people are not coming, the musicians don't make as much money, the wait staff doesn't make as much money, the bartenders don't make as much money, and hours and shifts are cut.
And the business doesn't make as much money.
This impacts everyone. This is not just about wealthy landlords. This is not just about business owners.
Yeah.
This is everyone. How about the tax base from downtown? If you don't have sales, the jurisdiction loses tax revenue. This impacts everyone.
Yeah, if everybody starts deciding that either they're gonna, go to short pump, or just order something online.
Go to Albemarle County.
Yeah.
Everyone, Jason Burke, I appreciated your comments today. I genuinely appreciated your comments. And the folks considering runs for the 54th District, or the folks that are considering runs for Charlottesville City Council, Lloyd Snook's seat's up, Sina McGill's seat's up, Michael Payne's seat's up. How about, as part of your campaign, a cleanup message for Charlottesville City? If I'm elected into office, Virginia House of Delegates, if I'm elected into office, Charlottesville City, I will clean up some of these branding and safety and security concerns that are currently present and relevant in Charlottesville City.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good scenario.
Yeah.
And the longer the scenario, it's you know what it reminds me of? Mayor Giuliani of New York City, when he was in office,
Yeah.
he would routinely say that broken storefront windows or broken windows breeds
More.
and births more broken windows.
Yeah.
Brazen and ballsy panhandling is going to birth and breed more brazen and ballsy panhandling. Clean it up. Clean it up. And elect people that are willing to do it. And understand that if you are willing to do it, or put in your campaign a cleanup message, that the socialists of Charlottesville are going to go after you. But this is a small group that needs to be, what's the word I'm looking about?
The small group that needs to
Put
be
in check. How's that?
Yeah.
How's that? I'll catch heat for that. All right, let's talk about the non-compete clauses potentially being banned. I'll read 2 or 3 paragraphs from a national story, and then we'll localize this story. The Federal Trade Commission took a bold move on Thursday. Why don't you go to a one-shot so we can get the headlines on, and then I'll weave you back in on the two-shot, J-Dubs. Look at the screen for the topics we've been talking about here. Here's 3 or 4 paragraphs that I'm going to read to you from a national story, then I'll localize it. The Federal Trade Commission took a bold move on Thursday aimed at shifting the balance of power from companies to workers. The agency proposed a new rule that would prohibit employers from imposing non-compete agreements on their workers, a practice it called exploitative and widespread, affecting some 30 million Americans. Non-compete agreements restrict workers from quitting their jobs and taking new jobs at rival companies or starting up similar businesses of their own within a certain time period, typically between 6 months and 2 years. Non-compete agreements are used across a broad array of industries, including in high-paying white-collar fields such as banking and tech, but also in many low-wage sectors as well. President Joseph Biden said this: "These are not just high-paid executives or scientists who hold secret formulas for Coca-Cola so Pepsi can't get their hands on it." Biden said a recent study found 1 in 5 workers without a college education is subject to non-compete agreements. They're construction workers, hotel workers, and disproportionately women and women of color. I'm going to localize this topic. Can anyone name Charlottesville, Albemarle County, or Central Virginia businesses that utilize non-compete agreements, clauses, or contracts? Do you know of any? Viewers and listeners, do you? Neil Williamson, you're watching. Kevin Higgins, Bill McChesney, Philip Dow, Lisa Costello, Jason Burke, Bob Yarborough, Kevin Yancey. Can anyone, Lauren Linsky, can anyone name Central Virginia, Albemarle County, or Charlottesville City businesses that utilize non-compete clauses? Kevin Yancey's a professional driver. He says a lot of the drivers with CDLs have non-compete clauses. Ooh, The Queen of Ivy, Kate Schartz. I love when Kate Schartz watches the program. Love Kate Schartz. Kate Schartz says the hospitals, Jerry. The hospitals are using non-compete contracts and clauses. She would know. She would know, and I'll leave it at that. The hospitals. Kevin Yancey says the CDL drivers have non-compete clauses and contracts in play. Judah Wickhauer. What's your take on this? We'll go to a two-shot and leave you in the mix. What's your take on this?
Well, I mean, I was just reading something in the Insider saying that banning the non-compete clauses would broaden opportunities for American workers and put, get this, almost $300 billion more in American workers' pockets annually.
Neil Williamson says, I know of several, but I'm told they are very difficult to enforce. Philip Dow, who's the king of Scottsville, says World Strides uses non-compete clauses. Kevin Yancey, I saw that DM you sent me. Should I relay this company's name on air, or is the DM you sent me, Kevin Yancey, between you and I? Please let me know if I can relay that business's name on air or if I should not. If someone tells me anonymity or keep it on the DL, my word is my bond. I do it every single time. Jason Burke in Los Angeles says most maid and home assistance companies use non-compete clauses, like the maid companies. Meredith Young, you're making our programs better. She says ACAC has non-compete clauses in place with its trainers. That's good stuff from Meredith Young right there. Its trainers have non-compete clauses.
I have a question about how you would go about enforcing something like that.
Well, Neil Williamson just said it's extremely difficult to enforce a non-compete clause.
Yeah, well, that's what I would figure. I mean, like if you were in a house cleaning business, and like, what are they gonna?
It's mainly a scare tactic.
Yeah, that's what I.
It's mainly a perception management tactic. Now, if you were the CEO of a publicly traded company, I would not want to fight a multi-billion corporation in a non-compete arrangement, because while you could probably win, you're going to be bled to death financially in court by a company that's well capitalized. A Charlottesville or Albemarle County company is probably not going to risk the negative PR of trying to sue one of their team members to keep one of their team members from working elsewhere.
Yeah.
Instead, it's a scare tactic used at hiring to hope that they put the fear of God into the team member not to go to a rival competitor.
Yeah, just keep them
Lisa Costello says home care health agencies use non-competes. Bob Yarborough says folks who can carry a client base with them if they go have non-competes.
Yeah, definitely. That certainly makes sense, and I kind of feel like that would fall outside of a non-compete in terms of it would be easier to enforce somebody not using clients that they poached from a company they're leaving.
I mean, if
than it would be to enforce them going to another company that does provides a similar service.
Look, if a team member, you and I worked together for how long?
11 years.
11 years, right?
Closing in on.
Approaching 11 years.
I think so.
Okay. One of the things I know, and you and I, and people who watch this show know this, you and I do not always get along. We spend 40 to 50, 60 hours a week, right?
Yeah.
And if you're a husband and wife, you spend that kind of time together. Anyone who's married knows that there's going to be stuff that comes up. And it's just like this in this professional setting, okay? But one thing I can say about you with confidence and conviction is you're a man of tremendous honor and integrity.
Thank you.
You're a high character guy. And what I know from you after working 11 years alongside you is if you choose to go somewhere else, you're not bringing our clients with us.
Right.
Because that goes against what your values are.
Yeah, it's just,
It's slimy.
yeah, exactly.
It's slimy. And one of the things I've always said on this show with you is I've always appreciated your, what have I said?
I don't know.
Your honesty. Your honesty. I've always appreciated your honesty. And I value that more than any other quality as an employer, honesty. And you are the definition of honest. Okay? So while I would be concerned if I owned a company and I own a couple of them, that team members would leave and then take clients with them, the team members we have, I'm confident would not do it.
Right. I think there's also a big, how do I put this? I think a major component of that is that the clients are being treated well by the parent company. If they are, then there's no reason for them to follow a single team member. And if they're not, then really, it wasn't the person leaving that lost the business, the client. It was the fact that they were not treating them well.
Yeah.
But that's again why I think it feels like something slightly different from the whole non-compete.
I mean, like you take like a personal trainer at ACAC. Meredith Young brings up personal trainers at ACAC have non-competes. That personal trainer has a connection with their clients that ACAC does not have.
Definitely.
The people are going to ACAC to work with those specific trainers. So if that specific trainer went to a different gymnasium or different club,
it would be hard not to.
Those clients would probably follow.
Yeah.
Especially since ACAC is not cheap.
Right.
Now I'm curious if the FTC, if this rule is serious and actually comes to fruition and they leave and there's no non-competes, is that going to create a free agency? Let's take the trainers, for example. Is that going to take a free agency of trainers now without non-compete saying, all right, I'm going to leverage the fact that I am now a free agent and that the FTC just kiboshed the non-compete clause that I have with my employer, and I'm going to go to ACAC and I'm going to leverage a job offer at the YMCA or a job offer at Farmington or a job offer at Boar's Head or a job offer at Keswick or a job offer at the gym to get more money at ACAC.
Yeah.
That would happen. And then all you would have to do in the leverage in your conversation, and some people can put this more delicately than others. I'm just a straightforward guy, and I say it very straightforwardly. If the non-compete is eradicated because the FTC says they're illegal, the trainer should go to their boss and say, hey, you can't hold me by this contract from going to your arch nemesis or your rival.
Yeah.
I want 20% more compensation. And if you don't give it to me, I'm going to go to this person, this other club, and I'm going to bring my clients with me.
Yeah.
That would happen.
Or what if a bunch of trainers got together and decided to start their own gym? Look, but
that's expensive.
Oh, I know.
Going to another club and using one offer against the other is much a more realistic scenario. Because the people are loyal to the trainer. Because they're seeing the gains because of the trainer. Yeah. And not the club.
And they probably go there on a regular basis because of the trainer.
Exactly.
Whether or not they see maybe they just like the person.
That's my point. That's exactly the point. Philip Dow says, I just retired from World Strides. As I remember, I cannot go to work for another educational travel organization for 3 years. Neil Williamson says this, it is important to keep in mind that the courts, when applying these tests in Virginia, have become more employee-friendly in recent years. Non-compete agreements that are too vague or cumbersome may be invalidated. Courts are more likely to enforce non-compete agreements that are reasonable, have a limited geographic scope, and are precise in terms. Bill McChesney says, whether working for myself or others, I always treated it as my business. I may work for a company, but my own name was more important than the company's. Well said. Well said. Virginia's a right-to-work state. Virginia's a right-to-work state.
Yeah.
So if you're going to try to utilize a non-compete, the language you choose, as Neil Williamson has very succinctly put, should be reasonable. If the non-compete has a window of non-compete from a time standpoint that is too long, people are going to see through that. People are going to see through that. You can't keep people from earning a living.
Yeah.
You can't, and really it comes down to who you hire. As someone who's done some hiring, you choose to hire people that match the values of where you want your company to go. Like with you, I knew from when I saw you doing graphic design on your iPad over a Corona and a Jägermeister shot while smoking a Camel cigarette at the Lazy Parrot with Jill behind the bar 12 years ago. And I saw you with your style, is it called a stylus, the pencil?
Yeah, I think so.
That you utilize on the iPad. I'm like, this guy is incredibly talented graphic designer. And then I got to talking with you and I'm like, this man has values that line up with mine. And then that's why I'm like, join the team. 12 years ago, good Lord. Best 12 years of your life, right, Judah?
I'll say that right here.
Best 12 years of your life, dog. Neil says, executives sign employment contracts regularly. I've been on both sides of the contract negotiations over the years. Shoot. Oh, man. All right, one other item out of the notebook, and then we'll get to your comments here. Wake Forest quarterback Sam Hartman has officially transferred to Notre Dame. He was the top gunslinger on the college football free agency market, a.k.a. the transfer portal. The expectation now is Brennan Armstrong is going to make an announcement, with many speculating that BA is heading to NC State to play for the Wolfpack. Brennan Armstrong goes to NC State. That is going to look very bad for the University of Virginia. It's record-setting quarterback transferring within the conference. And I understand NC State is not in the Coastal Division. They're in the Atlantic Division. They're still a member of the Atlantic Coast Conference, NC State. And having UVA's record-setting quarterback finish his collegiate career in Raleigh in an NC State uniform is going to be something we forever remember. I hope that doesn't happen. Paul McCarter, the king of the South Side, says this: you see realtors use their book of clients as leverage when switching companies. When doing a transaction, the clients belong to the broker, but we all know most are committed to their agent, not the company. He's right. I also know this: a lot of brokerages locally, and Paul, you can help me with this, a lot of local real estate brokerages do not allow the listings to transfer. So if you're looking to jump from one brokerage to another and you have active listings that are for sale, if you want to keep those commissions, you do it after the deals have closed, switching companies. Because if you're switching companies while you have active real estate listings, the brokerage says those listings belong to the brokerage and not you, the realtor. That's the leverage the brokerage has. That's called leverage. You want to switch companies? I keep your listings.
Yeah.
How you navigate the switch of companies in real estate, at least from what I've seen, is you do it when your listings have sold. And if you're going to make the switch in real estate from one brokerage to another, you do it Q4 and Q1 where activity is at a low. Paul says it depends on the brokerage. Some are more flexible than others. All right, anything else you want to add here? Lisa Costello says, Jerry Miller, you are great at seeing strengths in others and do not hesitate to share such publicly. I'm sure that is your ultimate advantage. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you, Lisa. Lisa, I sincerely appreciate your support on this talk show. Thank you for those kind words. I do try to do that. See strengths in others and then allow them to run with their God-given strengths in a business setting. Thank you for saying that, Lisa. You just absolutely warmed my heart and made my day. I sincerely mean that. I sincerely mean that. One of the things I absolutely stink at, I'm not great at, is managing folks. So I want folks around me that are extremely talented, that can be self-starters and independent and just kind of go with their own skills and making things happen. Closing thoughts. Juan Sarmiento wants you to have some final words and some closing thoughts.
Why? What is it with the closing thoughts?
I mean, normally talk shows have closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts. Let's see.
Because we got a 1:45, and did you notice he just came here, realized we were still on air, and circled back out?
I didn't know who that was.
Yeah, that's our 1:45. We got a 1:45 with a doctor.
Closing thoughts. I'm eager to follow news of what Bellamy Brown is going to be doing in the coming weeks and months, and
I hope make it official, Bellamy.
Yeah.
Make it official, dude.
Yeah.
You would crush it.
Yeah. I think you probably have a lot more people behind you than you may know.
I agree. Make it official, BB. And you're welcome here anytime, BB. Bellamy Brown. We love you, man. Sincerely mean that, dude. Mm-hmm. That's a great way to close.
Yeah.
You did extremely well this week, sir. Extremely well. It's Friday, too. It's not payday Friday.
I know.
But it's still Friday.
It's close enough.
It's close enough. All right, he's Judah Wickhauer. I'm Jerry Miller. This is the I Love CVille Show on a Friday. We're back in the saddle on Monday. Guys, we are truly, truly, sincerely grateful for your listenership and your viewership of our fine and fair talk show. We work really hard putting this talk show on. Really hard. We enjoy doing it, but it's significant work. So I'm very grateful for your kind words and your support of the program and you spreading the word of the I Love CVille Show. For Judah Wickhauer, I'm Jerry Miller. Have a good weekend and take care.